Okay, Cole Davies, congratulations. You were on fire all day. I sensed from you this season that you were expecting yourself to win. You're not happy if you're not winning, and I think that speaks to the expectation and level that you're at. Emotionally, can you give us any insight to the past few weeks? I've seen specifically last weekend at Daytona, you seemed a bit frustrated with not winning, but now that you're here, take us back emotionally the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'd say it's a bit of a relief to get this win. I've been kind of like, I would say too antsy, like first couple rounds. I've kind of settled in now and everything's kind of a bit calmer and race just let rid in the, oh my God. Okay. Letting the race come to me. So that's been better. But yeah, I'm just happy with my riding. So yeah, it was a good weekend.
You had a 1-1 heading into the Glendale race last year. In the third race, you crashed. To get redemption on that, how does that feel? And then I guess, was that like in the back of your head, like thinking about last year and just executing the start this time around?
Yeah, I would say I learned from last year from that. Last year, I would say almost like I got the first 2 wins and I was almost too overconfident going to the last race. So I kind of just tried to stay a little grounded, a little humble going to the last race and just celebrate after. So it's, it's not over till it's over. So yeah, learned from last year and got some redemption this year.
Kellen Brower, Swap Moto Live. Going into this year, everyone knows the talent and speed that you possess, but what are some of the things that you really specifically worked on that has kind of clicked for you so far through 3 rounds?
What do you say, like through the 3 rounds?
No, I'm saying like going into the season, what were some of the things that you were hoping to clean up about yourself this year, and have you already done those through 3 rounds?
I'd just say everything. Just confidence, experience, just learning from last year and putting it all into this year. So yeah, I feel like I'm doing that.
Okay. Mike Lindsay, Vital MX. Cole, the whoops tonight were extremely nasty. That's something over the first couple rounds. I mean, you've shown how much you've progressed in that area after you were already quite excellent in them last year. I walked them between the first and the second main, and not only they cupped out, but none of the cups go straight, basically. What do you do to get the bike to stay on top? All your competitors basically had to give up to jumping quickly. Can you give us a little bit of insight on, other than clicking it up a gear, what do you do in those situations?
You went between the first and second one?
Yeah, and I imagine it was
quite a bit worse.
I would say it had to be worse by the third.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to give all my secrets away, but I just say it's good technique and confidence. This leads to, just being good at them.
You mentioned in the first 2 rounds that starts was kind of the main thing that was plaguing you. Much better starts tonight, allowed you to get up front. Anything you worked on, any changes that kind of helped you be up front early?
Not really. I'd just say it's more executing. I feel like the first 2 starts of the season were a little weird, like the start straights, I mean. Like very short. The Daytona had big holes in it. Like the first round had like a double apex turn. It was kind of weird. Like first 2 round starts were just, I feel like the starts weren't really very good. I feel like this was a bit of a more normal start other than the drop. But yeah, it was a good night.
Cole, you really looked fantastic, like in every section of the track tonight. Was there any section that gave you any difficulty?
The whoops. No, I'm playing. No, I would say not really. I wouldn't say so. I had pretty good precision. I went axe throwing last night, so I'd say that's, what led to this win. I just had good precision everywhere from the axe throwing last night.
Thank you.
Adam from Track Talkers. Cole, the first couple rounds, it seemed like you were real energetic and antsy to kind of make it happen and prove to everybody that you were the top dog. And this round, it seemed like a completely different strategy. You were so patient in all 3 races. Was this something that you talked about with your team? Was this something you talked about with your dad? Or was this brought along with, hey, we need to come up with a whole new strategy for this weekend in the Triple Crown. It's a different style of racing, and we need to be on the top step.
I'll just say just executing my starts was like the main focus, and then just riding my race from there, letting it come to me. I'd just say first 2 rounds are kind of, I didn't get a good start, and then I mean, I went down, like just being too antsy, just wanting to go, wanting to get it done. So I just kind of calmed down a bit and just let the race come to me, and I felt like that was a lot better for me. Thank you.
Joe Shimoda, Joe, watching you ride, it always appears that you are very calm, collected out there. Was that the case tonight? How did you feel under the helmet?
Well, my goal was to try to get a good start and just try to run up front on each 3 races. But I feel like I made my personal mistakes a lot tonight. I mean, track was track. You know, it was difficult, but few moments I just needed to be better.
One on this side of the room.
Jim Kimball with Motocross Action. Joe, you came in kind of late to the series, maybe not late to the series, but there was a question whether you'd even line up, I think, at round 1. What have your expectations now changed? You've done so well in the first couple rounds. Have they changed from the first round?
Yeah, I think, well, first my fitness is improving, that's for sure. And also the bike's been a lot better from the first round. Yeah, now I think I can, start to push more, even during the week too. And yeah, try to win a race first and then go from there, I guess. We got a lot of racing, so.
A quick follow-up to that. Are you still working on improving the bike, or are you still kind of just running, I guess, your preseason setting or what you had from last year? Like, how are you juggling getting back to race speed, but also, bike setting?
Both, myself and the bike. I guess I'm running a much faster pace now. And yeah, also when you go faster and faster, sometimes you want the bike to be stiffer, and we're trying to find each round, We did a test this last week. And yeah, compared to first round, it was a big improvement. But like I said, both, I haven't been on a bike much, so I can be better. And also I think we can make little improvements on the bike. And yeah, we're just trying to win the race.
And then when Seth was in here, we kind of talked about you guys had a close battle there in the third
yeah.
race. Just walk me through that. You kind of looked like you thought he was going one way, he went the other way. Just walk about it seemed like fun, but it was probably stressful for you guys, right?
Yeah, like I look back the video, and so I kind of messed up the section before it, and I had to do on double on tabletop to single. I thought I showed him enough that I'm gonna go in the left side, just jumping the table to the left, but I guess he was a lot more left to me, than me. So I was just surprised. I thought he was gonna be on the right side, but yeah, it was a close call for sure.
You mentioned a couple of personal mistakes that you've been frustrated with. I would guess it has to do maybe a little bit with some of the pass attempts that you've made that didn't work out. How do you kind of reflect on that? Is it frustrating, and how do you go back and kind of learn from those mistakes?
Yeah, well, I think for tonight, I think my passing strategy was not that good. So halfway into the motos, I needed to find a way to pass people. For example, the last moto I was stuck behind a Yamaha guy for a long time, and then after the halfway through, okay, I got to pick it up and then push a little bit further. And sometimes when the track is rougher and you try to push a little bit more, and you just get that, you just get that sketchiness sometime, and that's what happened today.
We've already talked a bit about your limited prep coming into the season. Kind of made that a story all season so far. What are you excited to spend this little break working on? Anything in particular?
I don't know. It's been a long day today, so I'm not even thinking about anything.
Good. In the second race, you seemed to be able to run more of Cole's pace versus the first one. Any changes between the first and second race?
Like I said, each session we're trying some things, and yeah, each time I go out, I feel like I'm getting closer and closer. But I mean, tonight's case, first and second moto, the Cole was just ripping first couple laps. I think he was just fast in the beginning. I mean, I don't know if he got a little tired at the end, so I was kind of planning to get him at the end. But it's on 250 class. It's like 10 minutes. It's like not that long, so it was just too late.
Michael Lindsay from Violmex. Joe, HRC has recently acquired the services of Takeshi Katsuya, Taka-san, really noteworthy test rider. I've seen him here at the opening rounds, really in your corner, working with you, track walk, talking on the bike. Of course, he has a boat of knowledge when it comes to setup. What has he brought to the table for you? What has he been able to support you with over these opening races?
I think he's helping the whole team, you know. And for me, the hardest things for me is the English barrier, and sometimes I'm trying to explain some things that I cannot really, I don't really know how to, and through having him around, I think I got to be better, you know, speaking English still. I'm still working on it, but having him around, it makes those areas a little bit easier for me. And also he's a test rider, so he can ride a bike too. So it's good for me because I have another person that I can understand, that he can understand me. Just makes things much smoother, communication-wise, and it's a big help for me. So
does his Aussie accent bleed into how he speaks Japanese?
Oh, it just like kind of makes me laugh a little bit, right? But no, not really.
Joe, when we were in Japan, you said that the biggest thing about the SMX Championship was that you finished it off and it made you believe that you could. Does that carry over into this season? Because even though it's only been 3 races, I feel like you look like you've been in that championship mentality from round 1. So from SMX, do you just kind of feel like you know what it takes to win a championship and it's just happening now for you?
I would say, yeah, like to your point, for me, like whatever, how you end up the championship, to finish off first is, I'm just looking up to that from a younger age, and to accomplish that is great, no matter how you do it, right? Like racing is, sometimes it's like unpredictable. So many things can happen, and I was able to finish it off. So I'm stoked on that. But also, I think 3rd year with the team, and also 2nd year on the same bike, same model, which I haven't had for last 5 years. So just for me, coming into this year, there's lots of less things to worry about, and I think that is helping me a lot. And also, like, just the communication side, team is really good at understanding me, and I feel like the relationship is growing, so that's what's helping me the most.
So your 100 hours video comes out this week, so it'll be a very different side of you. What can people expect that are going to watch this video when it comes out next week?
Yeah, I don't know. I hope, everyone enjoys it. Yeah, I don't know.
Thank you, Joe.
Of course.
Sounds great. Okay, podium finisher, Seth Hammaker. From your perspective, I know it's only been a few minutes removed since your race, but what do you feel like you did exceptionally well tonight that ultimately got you here?
Yeah, I think just the rebound from main 2, bouncing back from that, and getting a 2nd place in the last main. So to put myself in a position to get on the podium overall. And yeah, I was definitely frustrated at myself after that 2nd main, crashing the whoops, and still rode good after I got up, but just can't put yourself back like that, especially on the opening laps. I had to come through, literally pick my bike up in last, and I'm happy with the bounce back. But other than that, starts were not on it tonight, and it just wasn't up front to start with.
Kellen Brower, Swap Moto Live. As you said, the start's not there tonight. I guess if you go back to the first one, it was just getting pushed wide. And then I guess the next ones after that would be gate selection not ideal, or what was it?
Yeah, first start was really good, and then Cole had just a little bit of an edge on me, and he ran it in pretty hard and got shuffled to the mid-pack. As far as the second 2, no, I wouldn't put the blame on the gate selection. I obviously wasn't too bad, but all the gates were decent and good enough to pull hole shots from, and just poor execution on my part. Yeah.
Scott, you're Shimoda now. After the second race, did you even think a podium was a possibility still? And did you realize that you're on a podium like at the end of that race? Like,
Yeah, I thought it was still in the cards. My goal was to go out there and win the last main and see where everything fell. I didn't get off to a great start, and then got kind of shuffled back, and then just started making my way back up. I didn't know where the points were going to fall. I just tried to pass as many people as I could, and luckily that was enough for third overall.
Jim Kimball with Motocross Action. Seth, what a great evening, really. I know you persevered. You had some bad luck and stuff, but there's always a lot of ifs in racing. But with that, the way you were riding in that final third main event, one more lap, do you think you could have passed Davies?
Yeah, I think I could have, but at the same time, he was, probably just riding it in. One lap to go, he had a pretty good lead and just was trying to ride that one in. So I don't know how hard he was pushing, but yeah, maybe one more lap could have had him. But regardless, it wouldn't have changed my overall for the night. And yeah, other than that, it was a challenging track. I felt like my riding in that third main was the best of my riding all night, but it's tough to start, fifth, and even worse than that, then come back up and win. So with the competition, it's tough.
Talk about that battle there with Joe in the third race. I think you guys were close. I think he thought you were going right, you went left. It just back and forth. It was really fun to watch, but it was almost kind of stressful probably for you guys, right?
A little bit, yeah. It's you had to pick your passes kind of carefully tonight, and with how this track gets, not that anybody tries it, but you just kind of cross over a little bit. The ruts kind of grab you and you go one way, so it's kind of tough. But yeah, with Joe there, I think he thought I was on the right. He even looked over on that double, but I was actually on the left, and secured that spot. Didn't really matter for the overall, but it still felt nice to pass and make a run for the win in that third one.
Seth, I know you expressed frustrations about parts of your performance tonight, but good takeaways from this as well, like working your way forward. But big picture, you're still in a better points position. You won earlier than you had last year. So do you feel like you are overall riding better than you had in 2025?
Yeah, I do. I feel like I made another step this year. And honestly, I'm in a way better spot already with points and just riding-wise and mentally in this season. And I feel like I'm in a good spot to, going into the weekend off and come into the showdowns just ready to kind of just be consistent, but also knock off a few more wins.
how was the track at the end of race 3, say, compared to like last year, your typical 15-minute main event here?
Pretty similar, honestly. Like, they did a pretty good job of prepping the track, but for that main 3, they don't have enough time to like do as many sections as they would for like main 1 and 2, obviously. But as far as like a normal main event time, it honestly didn't feel too much different.
Seth, with the weekend off coming up, do you do anything special or do anything different? Do you ride over the weekend like you're racing, or?
No. Just gonna probably play some golf. My mechanic and a couple of buddies are doing a hair scramble on Sunday next weekend, so go hang out and watch that. But other than that, just kind of keep it chill, enjoy the weekend off and no travel, and then get ready for these 6 in a row. Thanks.
Hunter Lawrence, congratulations tonight. What's the level of satisfaction for a win like this in conditions that are so challenging in a Triple Crown format? What's this like?
It's pretty nice. I think it's pretty easy to imagine, honestly. It's not much deeper than that. It's really cool, honestly. Keep the red plate. That's what I wanted to do. I felt like last weekend I just was really frustrated with my result and what I felt like what could have been. So, yeah, me and the team knuckled down this week and we put a lot of work in, and so it's cool to see that pay off.
Michael Lindsay from Valmax. Hunter, first off, what was more difficult, the first career win in the 450 Supercross class or the one tonight, and why?
I mean, any win is difficult, you know. I mean, all the guys are so good, especially the first main. Like, you're racing, I think this Triple Crown, you're racing more guys that, you know, they get to showcase their strengths more, you know, like the guys that are maybe stronger in heat races generally do really well in the first main. Then, you know, your main event guys in the second and third. So it's like, it's tricky. There's 3 times the risk. I mean, Vince almost killed Eli, and then I had my own scenario in the second one where Cole Thompson and Vince were racing each other, and I was in the middle and just got sandwiched and ended up sending Cole off the back of the berm. And I don't know how I stayed on my bike. Honestly, super fortunate. Honestly, I just think I just got lucky. Honestly, like there was some carnage out there.
Second thing, you mentioned on the podium the hard work you and the team put in this week, 4 or 5 days basically of straight riding, straight testing. I have to always look at dirt bikes. I noticed your bike specifically. You and Jet and the Honda team in the past have worked with a lot of production components. I noticed a lot of changes in your A versus your B bike this weekend. A lot of parts on it that come on a standard 450R. Can you tell me what, we've talked about it a little bit the last couple of weeks, but what is it you've been looking for, and what did you find this week in terms of feeling, or, what were you looking for?
No, I won't tell you, but I'll say, yeah, we worked freaking hard, man. Tuesday from 9 until dark, Wednesday the same, Thursday go out more before I fly out and come out, press day again, and then today. So 5 days in a row, even though press day is small, but I mean, you can either look like an idiot because you're tired on race day or best case like tonight. So it's awesome. The team just never gives up. They got a never say die attitude like myself. And yeah, I'm blessed to have amazing people around me, and I can't ask for much more. Even if tonight wasn't what we wanted, it wasn't from a lack of trying.
Adam from Track Talkers. Hunter, it seems like you struggled in practice this morning, especially in the first one, and then you kind of rounded up all the way through the day. I know you and your dad and your brother are obviously very, very strategic in what you do and how you do it. It seems like right now you've gotten better, you've gotten faster, but you've put yourself in the right place at the right time. That last main event, you got the whole shot, you got it done. How much strategy is going into that, and how many times can you put yourself in the right place?
Hopefully a lot more, honestly. I mean, we got a lot of racing left. So, yeah, today, during the day, I was pretty happy with it, honestly. I went 1-1 in the quali sessions at Daytona. I didn't win, so I was like, all right, maybe I'm not a P1 quali guy, so let's change it up. But no, I was still out there trying, and the feeling was good. I think some days I can speak for a lot of riders, even if you're, maybe not at the top of the board every time you're on track, but that feeling's there. I think that's almost more confidence inspiring than putting it up top.
Matt Williamson, MXPMA Canada. So we know what happened with you and Cole was not intentional. So thanks for the words on that. But talk to me about like how lappers kind of impacted the track today. This track notoriously gets pretty rough. It's kind of one of the more exciting ones to watch. But kind of how does that like impact your racing style here? Because this isn't your first time at this track. So.
Oh, dude, it just complicates it all that much more. Like we're moving already a lot more than a normal main event track, and I don't know, don't mean to get on a rant, but it always seems to be the same repeat offenders, on the lap traffic that are just pretty sketchy and kind of, I know they got their race on, but I don't know. It's tricky and very unique for sure.
Can you talk about the pass you had on Jorge? You had to give him a little body English to get by. Was that just a higher level of aggression or just purely happened by accident?
No, I mean, he pulled aside for Eli, and then he tried to, not brake check, but slow me down on there. And if he's just coming back to get in the way, then, yeah, I'm going to give him some body English. Maybe Jed will come back and do the same.
Thank you, Hunter.
Thanks.
Eli, let's go back to earlier in the night. With race 1, you had started outside the top 10, and the way you moved forward, that seemed to be a really pivotal part of the night. So take us back and maybe break down for us how you allowed yourself to move so far forward.
Yeah, there was time to be made. It's just how much risk you want to take, and I was able to get to second at one point, and then got balled up by lappers and paid the price for it. So it was frustrating that way, and then I almost got taken out in the second moto by lappers. So, yeah, it's bad. It's bad. I think if the track's sub 50 seconds, make it a 15-man gate. I mean, they're just riders that are way off the pace of the top lead group, and if the promoter wants to potentially lose championship contenders, I mean, then let's keep it the way it is. But yeah, frustrating, but got out of here healthy and clean, and second's what we had.
Mate, it's actually cool to hear you talk about that, because it is a is a very big problem in Supercross that has probably quite a complex fix, but maybe a lighthearted question here. Would you rather jump LaRocco's leap on a Super Mini or lap Vince Freese?
Well, when a guy goes from the very far right side of the track to the very far left side, like what happened in Moto 2, it's just, and like what Hunter said, it's repeat offenders. It's the same people doing the same thing over and over again, and they don't get a big enough penalty for it. It's just, it's kind of outrageous. So it's frustrating. It's frustrating for us. Yeah, I mean, these guys are, what are they, 6 to 7 seconds a lap slower, maybe even more, and they're out there with this. So really, they're just a hazard.
What's a fitting penalty that you think would have consequences? Because I agree, these guys can do the same thing and they can do it each weekend and there's no cost to them, but it costs you guys massively. What is a penalty that you think we could introduce that would actually make these guys think about the way that they're dealing with you guys?
I don't know for the exact penalty, but I think it's just less riders on the gate. And I actually think motocross should be 30 guys on the gate. So I think both series has an issue with too many bikes on the track, and then especially once it gets to a short lap time.
I think the second race you were going away from the triple onto the tabletop before the big double. Was that just the ruts were, I guess, how did you kind of go away from that? It seemed like it was a fast line, and I think you stopped going away from it for a couple laps. Did you just get sketchy on it, or?
Yeah, I just missed it. So I didn't choose the right line and just straight up missed it, and that cost me. Yep.
Just to go back to the lappers for a minute, though, when you are catching Hunter and then you get into this group of lappers, what is the mentality? How do you approach getting through them safely and still trying to make a pass at the same time?
I mean, this evening it's Russian roulette. It's straight up because they're going so slow, and then you go to do a triple and you don't know which way they're going to go, and then tonight it amplifies it with the dirt. So there's really not much you can do, and then you just have to do what you can do.
Obviously, you battled Hunter last year in Pro Motocross. He beat you a couple of times. You beat him a couple of times. Just talk about the growth. Obviously, you're frustrated he's beating you, but talk a bit about the growth you're seeing from him now this season of Supercross. He has a red plate. He has wins. Just as a competitor, what are you seeing from him that makes him so much better than he even was last year?
He's a great competitor, and he's very consistent. That's his thing is he's consistent, and then he's good in the moment. So that's where he's been this series so far. Is he's good in the moment, and he's been very consistent. So it's a tough game to play right now.
Okay, Cooper Webb, 3 races, a lot happening tonight. What component of your races, from your analysis, what do you believe ultimately got you here tonight?
I guess just should be here, really. Should be on the podium here. Should be closer to the lead, really. Yeah, it was very quiet night for me, just even across the board, right around that 3rd, 4th all night. Good start in the first one, and then just got massive arm pump, and then second two actually rode a lot better, but my starts just weren't as good, so that didn't help. And I felt like the riding wasn't too bad, but we saw those top 2 were on tonight.
Michael Lindsay from Valmex. On press day, you talked to my coworker Lewis Phillips about your bike setup. You mentioned going back to something that was a little bit more of a baseline for you. Now racing Indian night, Triple Crown, getting 3 samples of it against your competitors. Do you feel like you're going the right direction by going back to that base, or do you have some work you want to do potentially this next week?
I think it's more with me and my riding, honestly. I think the bike is plenty capable, and I'm comfortable with it. It didn't do anything tonight that wasn't great. Like I said, I think for me, whoops were clearly not great at the beginning, and it's just, you can work on the bike, and I think that's what we tried to do, but maybe you lose some other things. So just little stuff maybe tonight, like tire selection, maybe would have changed whoops or this or that. You can look at different things, but overall I think I just got to be better.
Hey, Coop, Adam from Track Talkers. A lot of guys count you out, but I'm definitely not one of them. With that being said, I talk about you on the podcast all the time about the guy that is able to elevate himself to whatever level he needs to elevate himself to win a championship. Right now, these last couple rounds, I haven't seen it. Can you talk about realistically, I know you talked about bike setup a little bit, but what you need from yourself?
That's a great question. I mean, I thought I put a lot of pressure on myself today to go out there and basically win and turn the championship around, and today was make or break essentially for that. So it's never over till it's really over. But obviously, being 25 down isn't good by any means. And I think at this point, like, it's cliche, but a reset. And like I said, I'm trying some stuff this week. We're in the works with some whoop stuff to get better there. I think even within the program, I think I need some speed work right now. Those top two really, I think, have the speed advantage at the moment. So, yeah, just overall, I think this break is a good opportunity. Like, a lot of people might take it and rest, but I think for me, it's an opportunity to actually lay some groundwork, do things I need to be better at, and then hopefully they start battling in the championship, and it opens up some stuff for me to go just win some races and see where I end up.
I know it's been difficult for you, obviously, but one of the big things that I've seen is there's a lot of guys in this championship, and I know you like to be mano-a-mano, and I know you like to lock in and kind of focus on a certain guy to get that and get it done. Is that something that you're maybe struggling with as well?
Yes and no. I think it's just a different year, man. Honestly, there's so many of us right now. There's really 4 of us, in my opinion, that are clearly the best 4, and we're all on top of our game. And I mean, yeah, there's no real rivalry, I guess, like there is in the past for sure. But like I said, it's hard. I thought today I could turn it around and really be competitive on this style of track, and just wasn't. So I mean, it's on me, right? I got to be better. And with that being said, I am one that I do think that I can come to the next round and be in the fight, right? I think we saw that last year. There was times where I would be maybe off the weekend before, but could come out 7 days later and do my thing. So we'll keep relying on that.
You're battling with your teammate there, Justin, and it was good back and forth. It seemed like not aggressive, but it was like a game of chicken. Who was going to let up? Obviously, all you 450 guys, like, you know each other, respect each other. But talk about battling with him like during the week, and you kind of know how he rides. So, you know, it's pretty clean racing between you guys, right?
Yeah, for sure. He was going for it. He wanted that podium, you could tell, right? And I think he had some confidence from that win and stuff. And yeah, he was battling me hard, right? I felt like we should have been going forward in some of those regards, but then we were kind of playing cat and mouse there. But it was obviously for a podium, which is huge for him. So it is fun. Like, you know, we're not going to clean each other out, but we kind of know, I think, each other's weaknesses and pros. So I kind of knew where I could get him and where he would maybe get me. But it is fun. Obviously, it's a good when we're both fighting for a podium, and I was able to edge him out, which is now I can talk crap to him this week, I'm sure.
And then a quick follow-up, you mentioned arm pump. Was it just the track being tough and you holding on tighter? Was it bike setup? Is it just happens sometimes, I guess? Can you explain that?
I think it just happens. Obviously, I was fighting the whoops, and I think that just kind of, when you're holding on tight, you know, bad things happen, and this is a track you do not want arm pump on, I can tell you that. So, but it's part of racing. You know, when you're not, I shouldn't say when you're not comfortable, when you're fighting yourself and a flow, it can happen quick.
Eli was obviously just in here and said a lot of things about lap traffic and dealing with them in these types of short races. Do you kind of agree with him on that, or is there things that should be done, you think, to kind of alleviate that problem for you guys when you're battling out front?
Yeah, no, I heard him, and he's right. Like, there should be penalties. There should be, whether it's money, because they clearly don't care about points because they're not in the points. So if you take their money away and that's how they live, then maybe they'll get it. So, like I said, I think it's unacceptable. The series needs to step in and do something because they clearly haven't. And yeah, I think like Eli said, he could have been out in the championship from a lapper, and any other motorsport that never happens, and it's a joke for our sport.
Okay. Lars Lindstrom, team manager for Honda HR Supercross. Both of your guys up on the box tonight, but Hunter especially with that win. You know, we see your riders, they're doing their job, but you have a very busy team of technicians, very good at what they do. Was it a busy night for them, making adjustments to keep these bikes competitive throughout changing conditions?
Definitely. I mean, Triple Crowns for sure. They're really, really jam-packed, especially once the night show starts, you know, then the racing just never ends. I mean, I barely came up at all from the tower. But yeah, 2 bikes, you know, you have a spare bike here that we can have, which always makes it complicated. But yeah, a lot of that, I don't think we did too many adjustments through the night, but it does make it a lot more stressful, a lot more things going on. Luckily, you know, we didn't really have, even Hunter's incident with the lapper didn't really have too much damage or any damage. So we didn't have to use a spare bike or anything like that, but definitely a lot more to think about.
Hunter mentioned a lot of days of testing this week. I guess it might seem like a dumb question since he won the last indoor stadium race and then Daytona, but why so much testing? And I guess how do you make sure not to go in the wrong direction when there's so much work being done and so much, I guess, parts being tested, whatever it is?
I mean, yeah, we've basically, I don't know if we ever stopped testing, We had a test plan for after Daytona. Well, the team is in Florida anyways. Joe, every time he gets a little bit faster, needs a little stiffer motorcycle, pretty normal coming into or not coming into a series, but when the rider is getting better and better. I mean, it's kind of like stuff that you go through in October, November, I guess, when the guys are coming off of their, supposed off season. But then Hunter, yeah, I mean, we still had things that we wanted to check. I mean, he's pretty stubborn. He wants a certain feeling that has been really tough to find. And so, yeah, we basically, are willing to do whatever to try to get him happy. And I think them as a team, as a family, his dad is always pushing for something better and never satisfied of it, I guess is probably the best way to put it. So I think a lot of teams would probably say, hey man, just you're running this. But to me, it's kind of like a Tim Geiser thing, a happy rider, fast rider. If the guy's not super happy, then you're probably not going to get the most out of him. So we do the best that we can to make our riders happy with their motorcycle. And, sometimes you get it and sometimes you just got to keep working.
Michael Lindsay from Valmex. Lars, off the back of that test this week and just kind of in general, the team's relationship with not only the riders, Jet and Hunter Lawrence, but their family, their home base people. You mentioned just going through all those things. There's plenty of riders that have had their own home base group, and it hasn't always worked out the best, between the teams, and then butting heads or just not being able to really figure each other out. Why has it worked so well with the Lawrences and you guys and what you guys have come up with? Could you, give people a little bit of insight on why this works where it hasn't for so many others?
I think that probably one of the reasons is that we are still a team. I think sometimes people break off and think the team's not giving them what they want, or that they're fighting them or whatever. And I think that luckily we've always kept it together as a team, even with with Darren, his ideas, and with Hutch and with the whole Showa team and everything like that. Everybody is communicating and trying to make things better together rather than kind of breaking apart as a team or whatever. So them down there, Darren's very, I don't want to say analytical, but he definitely is always pushing, thinks we can have something better. His brain never shuts off. I mean, if he's not thinking about the motorcycle, he's thinking about how to make his athlete better, how to make the track better. I mean, he's out there watering the track, working on the track, working on the bike, talking to the rider. Like he's got a lot going on in his brain. And so for us to keep up with him basically is sometimes a little bit difficult when we're in California as well. But yeah, it just seems to work. He's able to get through to the boys, and they listen to him. My 11-year-old doesn't always listen to me, but they seem to listen to him. So he's a special guy for sure.
Scott Yargemoto now. In regards to the lack of penalties from the AMA and Arlington, the team PR said that you intend to escalate the issue further. Do you have any updates on that? What avenues is the team taking to escalate that issue?
Yeah, I mean, we did the best that we could as far as contacting the AMA and doing our part on that side. It's kind of one of those things. Once you get to a certain level, there's just nothing more that they're doing. Their decision is final. And obviously, we made some impact, and they changed the lead and light thing. But we would have liked them to talk a little bit more about the flag, and it's just opened up a little bit of a can of worms, I think, for them. And obviously, with the amount of social media and just all media and fans and the outpouring of opinions from them, I think that we were in the right. And but other than that, we're over it. We got to look forward. It can't be one of those things where we're just always, going to blame that or look back and go like, if only we, or we got screwed or whatever. We're focused forward and just trying to make sure we're not just going to get, stuck thinking about that.
On a different note, do you have any updates as to when we might expect to see Jet back racing?
Yeah, I mean, Jet is still, doing his recovery. I mean, I don't want to beat a dead horse about that one, but I think we're going to have a little bit of news about him next week about, when and where. As I've said probably a bunch of times, that bone, the talus bone, is definitely not something you want to mess around with. And the way that his surgery was, he got a really, really good surgery. The doctor that did it did a fantastic job. But the way they fixed it also requires it to actually heal all the way 100% to where there's no chance of it breaking apart, because if that happens, then you're in some real deep trouble. So I know that we're going to have a little bit more details about all of that coming soon. But right now he's on the road to recovery. He could probably ride some Supercrosses, which I've also said. Whether we want him to, or he wants to, or we need him to, or whatever, anything like that is still up in the air.
You mentioned Joe and kind of his progression and everything with the bike. I guess, your expectations of the first race, you don't want to put too much pressure on him, just knowing where he's coming from. I guess, how are your expectations changing? And is it like full go with him now, almost to what it was last year? Or are you having conversations of don't ask for too much too soon and kind of work back into it? I guess, how do you manage that fine line?
Yeah, I mean, going into the first round, I think we were just really happy to be there. And that was the one where we're like, hey, if we can get to that first round and get through with top 10 points and not basically be eliminated right away, that was kind of the goal. He did obviously way better than we expected him to. And then, we're trying not to get too ahead of ourselves, but obviously, I think getting through these first three and then having a weekend off and then just trying to build from there it was kind of like, if we can just check that box, this box, and now we're, I think, 2 points out of the championship. So, I mean, now, yeah, I mean, he's feeling better. He's getting stronger, all of those things. Now with this a little bit of a break too, I think that, the next goal is just to try to win a race and stay in it. And the way he's getting stronger weekly, I don't see why we wouldn't be able to win the championship. So, yeah, we're definitely, that's now refocusing is to try to win.
Any more for Lars?
Cool.
Thank you, Lars.